Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Friends, let us all study, investigate, and practice the real words of the Buddha. Buddhas are rare beings in the world. They are not born everywhere, every time. They are born in the world after long time. The purpose of becoming the Buddha is, having realized himself, to reveal that real words. The Buddha became the Buddha, and he revealed what he realized. He became the enlightened one, perfectly self-awakened one, and then he enlightened others. That is the purpose. Buddho so bhagava bodhaya dhammang deseti. Having attained full enlightenment, he teaches the Dhamma to enlighten others. Danto so bhagava dhammataya dhammang deseti. Having tamed himself, he taught others to tame themselves. Santo so bhagava samataya dhammang deseti. Having come to the state of peace, he taught us the way to come to that state of peace. Tinno so bhagava taranaya dhammang deseti. Having crossed over the ocean, sansaric ocean, he teaches the Dhamma to cross over. Parinibbuto so bhagava parinibbanaya dhammang deseti. Having attained full enlightenment, released, perfectly released, parinibbana, he came to the state of coolness, siti bhuta, and he taught us the way to come to that state of coolness, completely cool, because no more defilement. All taints extinguished, all taints exterminated. Thus he came to the state of coolness. This is the purpose of the Buddhas. So the Buddha taught us what he realized and how he realized. Tonight we have a very special discourse connected to our meditation. This discourse is from middle length teachings of the Buddha, Majjhima Nikaya. The discourse number 131. Bhaddekaratta Sutta. Bhaddekaratta Sutta. Tonight the topic is the most excellent one thing to be engaged in. The most excellent one thing to be engaged in. That is meditation. Let's understand this discourse. I have heard that on one occasion the Blessed One was staying in Savatthi at Chetas Grove, Anathapindika's monastery. There he addressed the monks. Buddha addressed the monks. That is how the Buddha normally addressed them, and normally Buddha taught addressing them. One should not misunderstand that the Buddha taught because he always addressed the monks. One should not misunderstand that Buddha taught this Dhamma only for the monks. The Dhamma is for monks, nuns, lay followers, lay male and lay female. Fourfold Sangha. Dhamma is for the fourfold Sangha. That is how we have to understand. As the Buddha addressed monks, the monks responded, "Yes, Lord. Yes, sir." That's how they responded. The Blessed One said, "Monks, I will teach you the summary and exposition of the most excellent one thing to be engaged in. Listen and pay close attention. I will speak." So, one thing to be done. The most important thing, the most excellent thing, wonderful thing. If we can engage in that, that is the way. That is the way to realize real peace, real happiness. That is the way to live happily, peacefully. So what is that one thing to be engaged in? Then the monk said, "As you say, Lord. As you say, sir." Then the Buddha gave the summary. Here the Buddha said, "I will teach you the summary and exposition of the most excellent one thing to be engaged in." Now the summary. The Blessed One said, "Neither you chase after the past." This is the summary. This is the most important thing to understand. This is the way to practice meditation. When you sit for your meditation. What is to be done? Neither you chase after the past. You are not thinking over and over, brooding over and over your past stuff. Whatever comes to your mind, you are going to stop, because past is gone. Past is past. You cannot mold your past. Cannot change your past. Whatever done, done. Don't worry about your past. Of course, in daily life, it is true that you can, if you think of your past, you can plan your future. It's all right. In order to understand some lessons, you can think of your past. It's all right. But when you practice meditation, when you are on the cushion, you are not supposed to think over and over your past. Past stuffs are what you call volitional formations. What you have acquired, what you have gained, what you have hoarded as volitional formations. These volitional formations are not for the samsaric, not for the release of mind. That is why one day we will have to cut them off all, totally, entirely. To go beyond volitional formations. You to understand this, whatever comes to your mind as this volitional formation, you to understand all such thoughts are anicca, impermanent. Sabbe sankhara anicca, anicca. Sabbe, all sankhara, volitional formations, anicca, impermanent. So the Buddha's advice here is, neither you chase after the past, nor place expectations on the future. So what is to be done? You should cut off your past and the future. You are not thinking of your past or the future. Whatever is past, gone, is gone. Your past is gone. Don't worry about past. The future is not arrived yet. Future is not yet. You are not approached yet. So don't worry about your future. If you are doing right thing right now, no doubt, your future will definitely be a successful one. So, Buddha said, forget about your past, forget about your future, and what is to be done. This is the only thing to be done. The most important thing, the most excellent one thing to be done, one thing to be engaged in. What is that? Penetrate it right. Whatever in the mind at present, whatever in the mind at the present moment, that is your object for meditation. Whatever in the mind at present, forget about past, forget about future. Be mindful at the present moment. Whatever is in your mind at the moment, observe it, penetrate it, penetrate, vipassati, vipassati, see it, penetrate it, right there. Whenever it comes, whenever it arises, whenever a thought arises, understand your thought. The thought arises as a form. That is what is called form aggregate. The thought arises as form and then you feel it. That is what is called feeling aggregate. So form aggregate, feeling aggregate, then perception, you perceive. That is what is called perception aggregate. What you perceive, that you evaluate. That is what is called evaluation. That is what is called volitional formation aggregate. And all these are very well detected, very well reported by consciousness. Consciousness is the knower. So, what are these? These are what you call 5 aggregates. So, 5 aggregates are arising and passing in the mind. In the mind. With the support of external stimuli. With the support of external stimuli through your eyes, through your ears, through your nose, through your tongue, through your body. And mentally, that is not with the support of external thing, but past things sometimes, past things, both future. Mentally, things arise, then you have to understand that picture, that image. Image is the form. That is a reflection. That is what is called form aggregate. So all these 5 aggregates are arising, passing in the 6 sense bases without any particular order. It happens. Whenever such 5 aggregates arise, you have to be mindful. And when we practice meditation, normally we take an object for meditation. Mostly people take the object, meditation object, the breath. Breath is your object for meditation. That is your present moment. Now, as you are practicing mindfulness of breathing, you to stay with that. That is the most important thing. That is the most excellent thing that through which you can understand the Dhamma. So the Buddha's advice is, forget about your past, forget about your future, and whatever in the mind at present, right now, with whatever you are, penetrate, understand, vipassati, penetrate it, right there, then and there, there and then, then and there and then. Practice, give full attention, try to understand, stay with the present moment, stay with the object of your meditation. Observe what's happening in your mind. And then practice without taken in. Practice without grasping, without taking it as mine, me or myself. Your object is different from your mind. You have to understand that. Not grasping, without taken in, without grasping, and without unshaken. It is without taking in, without grasping. Taking in is what you call upadana. No attachment, without attachment and without repulsion. That's the meaning. Without attachment, without repulsion. Without taking in and unshaken. To take, you don't disturb it. That is how the wise, Buddha says, that's how the wise develops wisdom again and again in the present moment. Fully focused. That is the Buddha's advice to meditate. That is the secret of meditation. Stay in the present moment. It's not that easy. It's true. But effort must be made. The Buddha said, as the followers of the words of the Buddha, let's listen to the Buddha. Buddha said, effort must be made today. Effort must be made today. Tomorrow, death may come. Who knows? No bargain with mortality. Mara. No bargain with mortality can keep him and his hordes away. There's no bargain, no accord with the Mara or with his hordes, with his retinue. But one who dwells thus ardently, relentlessly, by day, by night, is certainly, Buddha said, it's certainly the one who is engaged in the most excellent one thing. The peaceful sage says, the Buddha says. That is the summary. Then the Buddha explained how to practice what you call past, what you call future, like that. Buddha explained further. This is the exposition. Buddha says, and how, monks, does one chase after the past? So the Buddha, it is the nature, it is the way that the Buddha teaches us. First of all, Buddha points out what the wrong side is. What the wrong side is. What the wrong way. Then the right way. So the wrong way. How does one chase after the past? one gets carried away with the delight of in the past I had such a form. I had such a form. You are thinking of something happened in the past. I had such thing. Thinking, whenever you think of past, there what first arises is the form. In the past, I had such a feeling then. You feel that form. In the past, I had such a perception. Then you perceive it. You recognize it. In the past, I had such a volitional formation. That is thinking of volitionally, thinking of that particular object. Past, something past. In the past, I had such a consciousness. So what are these? These are the 5 aggregates. Form, feeling, perception, volitional formation, and consciousness. That means whenever you think of something, then the 5 aggregates are there. You have picture, you have the form, you have image. That is what is called form aggregate. Whenever, suppose you think of something past, then you can see that picture. Mentally you see that picture. Something happened in the past. Suppose you are thinking of a tree. Then you can see that tree in your mind. This is mental. Form is mental, not physical form. Not this body. Form aggregate means not this body, but mental. That is the object. That is to be understood. To which we easily grasp. We have tendency to grasp it, attached, grasp, cling to that. That's we have to understand. We have attachment to that form. So Buddha said, 5 aggregates subject to clinging is dukkha, suffering. 5 aggregates, these are the 5 aggregates. Whether you cling to form, feeling, perception, volitional formation, or consciousness, whichever, you have to suffer. Suffering means clinging to these 5 aggregates. 5 aggregates means not this body, not this corporeality, but mental. So, thinking in the past, thinking over and over about the past things, we are clinging to such things. As long as we have that clinging, that attachment, that grasping, we have to suffer. That is why the Buddha said, don't suffer. Don't suffer. Cut off your past. That is meditation. Cut off your past. Don't worry about past. Cut it off. In the past, I had such a consciousness. This is called chasing after the past. And how does one place expectations on the future? One gets carried away with the delight in the future. I might have such a form, referring to future. You might think of something future. In the future, I might have such a feeling. You are imagining. You have imagination. You think of something. Suppose you are thinking of a certain place. Suppose you want to visit a place where you image, you think that I might get this stuff, this, or like that. But when you reach the place, you don't see such things. That's what happens sometimes. So in the future, I might have such a feeling. Or when I go there, I will have this type of feeling, this type of pictures, this type of images, this type of facilities. Suppose you go to a particular hotel. You think of a hotel. Imagine that a hotel should be a good place for us to stay couple days, like that. Then when you go there, you don't see this feeling. In the future, I might have such a perception. In the future, I might have such a volitional formation. In the future, I might have such a consciousness. This is called placing expectations on the future. That is the negative side. Now the Buddha and how does one not place expectations on the future? One does not get carried away with the delight of in the future. Delight of thinking, in the future I might have such a form. In the future I might have such a feeling. In the future I might have such a perception. In the future I might have such a volitional formation. In the future I might have such a consciousness. This is called not placing expectation on the future. So, and how is one and how does one not place expectation on the future? One does not get carried away, with the delight of in the future. I might have such things, such form, feeling, perception, volitional formation and consciousness. This is called not placing expectations on the future. So that means you are neither grasping, neither thinking over and over in the past or future. Now the Buddha teaches us how is one taken in with regard to present thing. Taken in, grasping the present thing. There is the case where an uninstructed run-of-the-mill person is worldly person. Uninstructed person, of the person who has not seen the noble ones, is not versed in the teachings of the noble ones, is not trained in the teachings of the noble ones, sees form as he has no such things, as he has not listened to the very words of the noble ones, as he has not professed, not versed in the teaching. He does not know the Dhamma. As he does not know the Dhamma, he sees form as self. This is what happened. Because of not understanding the Dhamma, he sees form as self. or self as possessing form, or form as in self, or self as in form. That means, referring to form, he grasped this form as mine. Then, form as self. Thus, or self as possession form, or form as in self, or self as in form. 4 different ways he grasped it. That is the meaning. Grasp what? Grasp the form. Likewise, he or she sees feeling as self, or self as possession feeling, or feeling as in self, or self as in feeling. Referring to perception, he or she sees perception as self, or self as possession perception, or perception as in self, or self as in perception. Referring to volitional formations, he or she sees volitional formations as self, or self as possessing volitional formations, or volitional formations as in self, or self as in volitional formations. Referring to consciousness, he or she sees consciousness as self, or self as possessing consciousness, or consciousness as in self, or self as in consciousness. This is called being taken in regard to, with regard to present thing. And how is one not taken in with regard to present thing? There is the case where a disciple of the noble ones, who has seen the noble ones, is versed in the teachings of the noble ones, is well trained in the teachings of the noble ones, he or she does not see form as self, or self as possessing form, or form as in self, or self as in form. Then referring to feeling, he does not see feeling as self, or self as possessing feeling, or feeling as in self, or self as in feeling. Referring to perception, he or she does not see perception as self, or self as possessing perception, or perception as in self, or self as in perception. Then referring to volitional formation, he or she does not see volitional formations as self, or self as volitional formation, or volitional formations as in self, or self as in volitional formation. Then referring to consciousness, he or she does not see consciousness as self, or self as possessing consciousness, or consciousness as in self, or self as in consciousness. This is called not being taken in with regard to present thing. Then the Buddha said, when you practice, try to stay in the present moment. So this is the same verse. We don't want to go through that. Finally, it is said that is what the Blessed One said. Gratified, the monks delighted in the Blessed One's words. So friends, this is a quite deep discourse. We have to discuss this to understand better. We have to discuss this is the way to practice. In short, whenever we go to meditate, we have to have determination, courage to practice ardently with a clear mind. We have to have ardent. We have to have clear comprehension. We have to be mindful in the present moment. Present moment means present object of your meditation, where we have to practice equanimity, equanimously observing, not simply for concentration, but to go through, but to penetrate. That is what the Buddha said. Vipassati. Tatta 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 vipassati. Tatta tatta. There, then and there. There and then. See through. Try to understand what is going on. What is going on now? Now. That is the way to practice. Let's all heed this word of the Buddha. Let's listen to the Buddha and practice accordingly, so that we can live happily, peacefully, light-heartedly. And one day we can realize real peace, real happiness of Nibbana here in this very world. As the Buddha said, the final attainment of enlightenment is not somewhere else. It is possible here. It is possible in this very world. We got this wonderful chance to be born as humans. It's a rare opportunity. We got this wonderful Dhamma, the sublime Dhamma of the Buddha. Let's take the maximum benefit of this Dhamma. Let's practice and realize this real peace, real happiness of the highest bliss, supreme bliss of Nibbana. May we all realize that supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.